Puljujarvi, or would you just what would you do in that situation?
If I were the Devils, if we're talking like a Puljujarvi, I'm probably mispronouncing that, but for whatever.
Puljujarvi is the
Puljujarvi, all
correct
right,
way.
Puljujarvi. If we're talking a Puljujarvi trade here that involves Miles Wood, then yeah, I'm not giving up. I think the highest draft pick I would give up, in this case would be a third round pick. And really, I think realistically, if you can get away with giving up a fourth, then yeah, do it. But I don't think Edmonton takes that deal. I think that pick would have to be a little higher than a fourth round pick.
I mean the fact that we could somehow get any sort of value for Miles Wood would be goddamn impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I know Wood is like,
look,
he's a defensive liability.
Miles Wood has tremendous speed. At times, he's the fastest player on the ice. His biggest issue, more than anything else, is that if he can get his hands to be a little softer and be able to have more control, he could be that much better of a player. I think that if the Devils were to move on from Miles Wood, I think that they probably at best would get a second and maybe a third.
I think the best Miles Wood is like he got away from what made him a 19-goal scorer in his rookie season, and that was like
I wonder who's responsible for that.
That was him mostly, getting in front of the net and getting like dirty goals, and all of a sudden he tried to change up his game and try to be more of a shooter, but he doesn't really have the shot to do that. He needs to go back to just getting in front of the net, creating havoc, and
and just and laying the body, because that's what makes him. That's what makes him effective.
What Miles Wood really is, he's basically Bam Bam and Speedy Gonzalez wrapped in one.
I remember him saying this on my podcast. He said the same thing.
Wait, you had Miles Wood on your podcast?
I didn't have Miles Wood. No. I'm talking about Joe.
Oh, I was like, what?
I'm not that big, guys. I'm not that big yet. Come on.
I was like, whoa.
No, but that's why I was laughing, because Joe said this exact same thing about Miles Wood on my podcast. He said the exact same thing.
So what do we? Sorry, I didn't warn you guys. I had to step in for a sec. I needed to help the wife with the daughter, but I was staying to her. She's like, she was saying, "Holy crap, you guys are still going." I'm like, "Oh yeah, we're
a marathon session."
It is a marathon, not a sprint.
This is definitely a marathon.
She's Paul Castron once said.
She's good. She's baby's been fed. She's taking her to bed. I said, we haven't ever hit 2 hours on this podcast, and we are closing in here.
Yeah, we're right there.
We're gonna stick this one out. We're gonna hit 2 hours.
Oh my god, this means I can throw some draft stuff.
Oh jeez.
So
it's not calculus, guys. It's not calculus.
Nobody likes calculus. Nobody likes calculus class. Who are you kidding? Like any of us actually ever showed up to class.
At least I showed up to class to do draft stuff.
No, that's different. But anyway, I guess what were we talking about? What were you guys even talking about?
Miles Wood.
Miles Wood.
Miles Wood is a combination of Bam Bam and Speedy Gonzalez.
Talked about Miles Wood too, like that, and you know what? It would be part of a Jesse Puljujarvi trade.
Just call it like it is.
I mean, I would do it. I think you got a free Puljujarvi out of Edmonton, but I mean, Miles Wood. I mean, he's like, I think like Joe and I have discussed this on prior episodes. Like for me with Miles Wood, like I'm a fan, but I'm not a fan. It's like, dude, like we get you're fast and you can skate, but like tone it down a gear. You don't always have to go full throttle. And why is it every time you go to turn a corner, you fall down? Like I'm watching.
He's like Happy Gilmore when he falls.
No, it's not like Happy Gilmore. Let's stay on topic here.
Jesus Christ!
Like when he falls down, it was basically like watching David Clarkson, except Clarkson had more skill.
Facts.
I'm not going to disagree.
That's a better one.
Not going to deny that.
Like. At least Clarkson could put up 15 to 20 goals, and he had 30 the one year. But I mean,
well, at least Clarkie actually scored a goal and dove right over the Philadelphia Flyers net.
Yeah,
and looked like Superman.
The difference with Clarkson as opposed to Miles Wood is that David Clarkson brought an element to that team and those teams that he was on that I think the Devils have lacked, I would say, since he's left. They haven't had a guy like him who can sort of do it all. Like, they were probably hoping Wayne Simmons could do it. I thought Wayne Simmons was going to be a lot better than he was. I've always been a Wayne Simmons fan, but that didn't work out. And obviously those kind of guys, they have a couple good years and then they sort of lose their touch and whatnot. Like, look at Van Riemsdyk. Van Riemsdyk was a hell of a player with Toronto, and then he comes back to Philadelphia, and if I remember correctly, Shiro tried to sign Van Riemsdyk, and looking back on it, man, am I ever glad he picked Philadelphia, because, oh my gosh, he's been healthy scratched, and he looks awful.
Yeah, he is. Really.
Yeah.
I think age is starting to catch up to him a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't really have that bad a regular season. He had
He's playing well. He's playing well on the third line with the Flyers.
Yeah.
You don't want to pay a guy $7 million a year to play on your third line.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is that contract was a lot.
That's like Lucci's numbers.
Like at the time, everybody wanted JVR to sign, but then when we saw he signed for what he did, I think it was like, all right, well, it's kind of good that the Devils didn't really try to pursue him any further than that, because it was just like a bad contract waiting to happen.
If the Devils had all Jersey guys in their prime on this team would be stacked. You really think about it.
Yeah, imagine Gaudreau,
John Carlson,
yeah, Van Reen,
Bobby Ryan when he was good.
Oh my God,
Jersey hockey.
I said when he was good, not now.
Who's that?
Oh,
Bobby Ryan.
Bobby Ryan,
yeah.
Dude,
you got John Carlson one.
John Carlson,
You had to bring that up.
Yeah, who did they pass on for him?
They passed on John Carlson, and they took, if I remember correctly, Matthias Tedenby.
Oh, yes. What's wrong with that? No,
yeah.
wait, hold on. Can we? No, Tedenby was good with the Devils, okay?
Like Tedenby, it wasn't a terrible pick at the time, because everyone thought Tedenby was going to be like this really good, top six winger.
He put up like 27 goals in his first year. I'd say he was really good that 1 year with the team.
That was I think you're thinking of Nicholas Bergfors.
Yes, Bergfors was clutch.
Yeah, Bergfors looked good, and then they used him in the Kovalchuk trade. But Tedenby was like just a little bit after that, and like I remember Jacques Lemaire not really liking Matthias Tedenby, but he loved Jacob Josephson.
Jacques Lemaire didn't like most of the guys on the Devils.
Yeah,
he. I mean that we should have kept him for another year. I think we still would have gone far with him as the head coach. But anyway, I mean, it's just, at the end of the day, I think when you look at this team and you look at the situation that we're in now, at least the one thing we can say is that we do honestly know where this team is, where it's going to be for the most part, where it's going to be next season, and, what to expect. I think that's a more relieving thing than anything.
Yeah, I don't think this team is as far off, at least from being playoff contenders, as some people think. Like, there's some good pieces in place. It really comes down to them really getting some pretty significant upgrades on defense, and then they have to get a backup goaltender, or hope Corey Schneider just gives them league average goaltending. And
league average would be great.
Yeah, I mean,
that would be at least decent.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't even get close to league average goaltending from anyone not named Mackenzie Blackwood last season. Their save percentage was .885 without when a goalie not named Mackenzie Blackwood started for them. So that obviously has to be a lot better this season. Mm-hmm. And if Blackwood performs like he has his first 2 seasons and they get league average backup goaltending, I think they could at least compete for a playoff spot. I'm not saying they'd get in, but they'd definitely be watchable. Yeah, I don't think the team is as far off as some people think. Like, maybe a couple of moves here and there this offseason could get them kind of in the conversation for maybe a wild card spot next season.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I could see like maybe 2 seasons away if you hit a couple more prospects here and there, maybe a few trades and signings that go the Devils' way. I mean, it doesn't hurt to wait a little bit longer, considering like Miss Yule's going to be in the KHL for another season.
Yeah, 3 seasons actually.
3
I think.
seasons.
Yeah, he just re-signed for 3 more seasons.
Or 3 more seasons, and he comes by that third year when we get really good or becoming really good, it's perfect timing. And Walsh will be ready. You would have maybe Igor Zaitsev comes over, and maybe one more year of Russian hockey for Arseny Gritsia comes over.
Yeah, Gritsyuk is a really intriguing prospect. I'm really interested to see what he does this season, and I guess he's going to be playing in the KHL from the looks of it. He's undersized, but I mean, he was one of the best scorers in the Russian Junior League last year, and Devils seem to have found a really good player in the late rounds there, so he's really, really interesting prospect. And
Will Scouch was also very high on him.
Yeah,
got him.
I was looking for another video, and then I came across Scouch's video of Gritsyuk, and he gave him I think a 1F, which if you're not familiar with his video,
yeah, 1 is the highest rating, and F is a very bad grade.
Yeah, but it's so the 1F for a prospect in that lower range is actually pretty good. It just means he's got the talent, but the consistency isn't there yet. And from the looks of it, it looks like he's improved his game over the last year. So, yeah, he's a really intriguing prospect. I think he's definitely got NHL upside. And Nikola Pasic is someone to watch too in Sweden.
They could be 1A and 1B easily type prospects if you think they take their time and they come over, after all this pandemic settles down.
Yeah, I think Gritsyuk could end up being a top 10 prospect in the Devil system at the when we're, I guess, at this point next year. It depends how he does in Russia. And I think Nikola Pasic was already kind of a borderline top 10 prospect. He had a really good season in the Allsvenskan last year, and now he's making the jump to the SHL. So he's definitely one to watch. So he was playing on the second line for his team in the SHL in the preseason game. So it looks like he's going to get good minutes there too.
Mm-hmm.
Or no,
yeah,
and it's good. This is good for all of us to talk about as fans of this team, because when's the last time that Devils fans are actually able to talk about their upcoming prospects? Because the Devils have struggled drafting probably for 10 plus years if you really think about it. When they had Lamoriello and David Conti, they struggled with drafting. It was so bad.
Oh yeah,
they took Josh Jacobs in the second round. He's probably an AHL defenseman for his whole career.
All right, so let's even take it up a notch. They took Connor Chatham over Braden Point in the second or third round.
Oh, that was beyond awful.
Yeah.
Well, every team is allowed to make dumb moves here and there.
Yeah, but the thing is with Lou Lamoriello at the end of drafting, the dumb moves are basically every pick. So
yeah, and he also made dumb moves in free agency. Let's give
Michael Ryder.
No, hang on. Or we need goal scoring. Let's trade Andre Lactiana for Tomo Rutu. Yeah, he's a goal scorer. What, he had 30 goals 5 years ago?
Okay, but Rutu actually was pretty good when he came to New Jersey. So
he was on the decline.
He was, but
yeah.
The one that bothered me was when Clarkson left, and I think I was at work, and my cousin knocked on the window because I was outside. I work outside, so he knocked on the window and he was pointing at my Devils logo, and I was like, "What?" And I looked at the piece of paper and it said Ryan Clough, and I was just like, "No,
Ryan Clough,
no,
the goat.
Don't tell me that." And
yeah,
I think
how
much?
I think
and he's like, $5 million or something, or $5.5 million over 5 years. I'm like, no, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that towards the end of his time in New Jersey, I think Lou, I don't know if it was more that, he was just trying to find anything and everything to just get this team to be better or not, but he's clearly back in his prime, with what he's doing with the New York Islanders. But yeah, thank God we're not in that era anymore with guys like Michael Ryder,
David Bruner,
guys like that. Jaromir Jagr.
Listen, Jagr may have been old when he came to the Devils, but he was still good. Arguably their best player.
He was if not arguably, he was their best player.
I mean, Elliott was still good at the time too, but Jagr had 70 points that one season with the Devils, close to it at least.
But,
he was a beast.
But But we got a much brighter future than I think a lot of Devils fans want to.